The adventure continues as we go further up north, eventually beyond the wall to the far remote regions of the UK. I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist. Let me know where you're watching from. Today we are in an old favorite, the beautiful Scottish city of Edinburgh. So join me on a walk all around this gorgeous city that is built in this dark stone, beautiful accents, and amazing haggis. I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist, and let me know where you're watching from. But today we're going up a place that last time I came here, which was only a few months ago, people were demanding that I would go to Calton Hill. I did not make it to Calton Hill last time, so today we're going to go up this hill, which at first from afar seems very intimidating. It's actually, from up close, actually seems like an easy hike. So welcome everyone, the adventure continues. We are not in a new city yet. New cities will be popping up very soon, but today we're revisiting an old favorite just for a short while. So let's walk up Calton Hill. So here it says, welcome to Calton Hill, formed by volcanic activity 340 million years ago and gouged by glaciers during the Ice Age. Calton Hill has a long and fascinating history. Oh, it seems like it does. In 1724, the Town Council of Edinburgh purchased Calton Hill, establishing it as one of Britain's first public parks. In 1775, the first path was constructed around the hill, which was, quote, the pleasure and amusement and the health of the inhabitants of this crowded city. Today, Calton Hill is part of the old and new towns of Edinburgh, World Heritage Site. Take an easy climb to the top and you'll be rewarded with spectacular views of the city. Built to commemorate some of Scotland's leading figures, climb 143 steps to Nelson's monument. All right, are you ready? Ian says if you see me in the streets of Edinburgh, we'll definitely say hi. Yes, always happy to wave hello. So yeah, if you see me in Edinburgh, happy to wave hello. So who's ready for 143 steps upon this hill in Edinburgh?
Tell me about it, because I was thinking, what the hell do I say?
A lot of tourists here this time around. When I came here a few months ago, barely any tourists except for that rugby match. So let's go up. Someone says that it looks a little bit like the Acropolis on top. We'll find out. We'll see. Hey, Ella says, I'm ready to watch what you do it. So, are you ready to walk 143 steps? Let me know. Hey, Barra says, your train video on my Instagram/Facebook stories led you to believe that I was heading up north. Yep. This is just the beginning of climbs that will entail this upcoming week. Irene says, isn't there a lift of some sort? No lift. It doesn't appear to have a ramp. There might be a road on the other side, but yeah, it doesn't seem to be accessible from this point of view. Marco says you don't have to go to the health club today. Oh yes, indeed. Hey. Elizabeth, hello from Chicago. Nice to see you here. Rachel says, do you visit new places you've never been? Showing new cities in July. Places that I haven't covered before. If you're an avid travel vlogger, watcher on YouTube, then you've probably seen the other cities, but at least for urbanists, you'll be seeing new cities. Here we have more history, and yeah, we have some bagpipes. Sorry, I'm a bit winded because I'm very full. I've been eating too much bread these past few months, and now I need like a deep cleanse. But beautiful bagpipes. Calton Hill, together with Author's Seat, should be down there, and Castle Rock, which we'll see glimpses of the castle soon, was formed by volcanic activity 340 million years ago. Okay, so we read about that, but let's read about this. Little is known about Calton Hill's early history, but it might have been used 4,000 years ago by some of Scotland's earliest Bronze Age. The hill was hosting medieval tournaments and festivities, but a darker side emerged during the 1600s, when the hill was the site of public executions. In 1724, the town council of Edinburgh purchased Calton Hill, making it one of Britain's first public parks. The monuments and buildings you see today date from the 1760s to the 1820s and relate to a period known as the Scottish Enlightenment. And here we have Regent Walk. The path to your right is Regent Walk and was created around 1815 to 1816. Walk along it today to see outstanding views of the Palace of Holyrood House all the way to Edinburgh Castle. Interesting. And by 1800, Edinburgh was in need of a new jail, and the site was chosen just below here on the south side of Calton Hill. But there was one problem. No proper roads went near this site. And so in 1815, the town council began working to improve access to this area by building Regent Road. Here we go. Oh my God. That's a very popular song. Hey David, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that. So David O'Brien. Oh, David O'Brien, nice to see you here. David O'Brien, watching just across the sea over in Ireland. Thank you so much for being a mega urbanist as well. And thank you so much for the kind super chat. Appreciate you. Marilyn says, I recommend not visiting Calton Hill after dark. It's a totally different vibe. Yes, it is. I can imagine. Look at this cannon. Oh my God. Penny, nice to see you here. Thank you so much for the 200 stars. Susie says the views will be worth it. Oh, I can already see that. Oh, and we have ancient Greek ruins. No, the ancient Greeks didn't come over here, though people do call Edinburgh the Athens of the North. This is a recreated version in the 1700s of the columns at the Parthenon. Susie says, yes, that'd be a good idea. How does one open this? Wow. So right here, this cannon, this is the Portuguese cannon. This brass cannon has traveled all around the world, cast in the early 15th century with the royal arms of Spain on its barrel. The cannon was transported to the Portuguese colonies in the Southeast Asia before 1785. Then either by trade or capture, the cannon came into possession of the King of Arakan, the ruler state of the west coast of Burma. It was subsequently captured by the British during their invasion of Burma in 1885. In 1886, the cannon was presented to Edinburgh on place in Calton Hill. Wow. Hey Maria, thank you so much for the stars. I appreciate you. Jennifer says, where's your accent from? Jennifer, I don't have an accent. I'm a man with no country, no origin, no name. I'm beyond accents. My accent's from, it's Jackson Heights, Queens. Spanish is my first language. I learned English like at 2 years old. Wendy and S Fields, nice to see you here. S Fields, hope you're doing well. So right down there, we're starting to see Edinburgh Castle, which we visited last time, and it is a gorgeous tourist attraction to visit, historic landmark. And we're seeing the views of the old town of Edinburgh, and then maybe we'll see some of the new town as well, right down there. But let's test the bench, shall we? All right, let's test this bench. Oh, this is a nice bench. It provides a slight bit of shade, a wee bit of shade right here, a wee shade. But you have this amazing views too. No bird poo, that's good. And then you have all these amazing views right in front of you. It's quiet with the bagpipers playing in the distance. Wow. Is it hot, says Maria? No, it's a bit chilly. Breezy at 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Feels a bit more like 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Sally says, you have a different necklace today. Yes, I do. I bought this at the Portobello Road Market. It is Our Lady of Guadalupe, which was really cool. There was a few Peruvian jewelry makers based in London who were selling that. This is a great bench. I like this. Oh yeah, this bench, I would say, is an Uber bench. Maybe at night might have a different vibe, but let's rate it for during the daytime. This ends up getting a solid because it's nice and curved, it's comfortable, there's a wee bit of shade, no bird poo, great place to have a wee dram of whiskey. This gets a very good 9.1. Tanamini says, perfect timing. You two came just in time for the bench test, yes. And it's a bench in honor of Brian John Hugh Gillespie. September, oh, well, around my age. Died in 2019. He was so young, forever in my heart. Oh. Brian, may you rest in peace. Susie says, hey, Ariel's in my hometown. Yeah, Susie, it's awesome to be here. Awesome to be here again before I venture beyond the wall. Well, I think I'm technically already beyond the wall. I think. But metaphorically beyond the wall. Wow. Oh, this is cool. So we're going to see Leith. Or Leith. Do let me know how it's pronounced. Let's visit this first. Esfiel says, Susie, is that you with the bagpipes? Nice touch. Yeah, Susie and Gary are helping me provide musical accompaniment to my Edinburgh video. Sharon says, are you coming to Blackpool this time? No, I won't be doing UK for much longer. The remote location, everyone, I think you can already tell. It's like, which way is north? I think north is that way. That way is a remote location we're going to. To new places that have not shown before, new countries that have not shown before. Irene says, sorry, I have to go. No, Irene, don't go. No, Irene, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you saying hello. It's cool how they use that. It seems they have used that typical Edinburgh stone. Flog says, am I in Greece? Well, it looks like it from this perspective, but nope, this is not Greece. Tammany says, anticipation of new countries. Oh yes. We're boldly going where no travel vlogger has gone before. Okay, many travel vloggers have been everywhere, but we're boldly going where no urbanist has gone before. So a lot of people are asking about this. Calton Hill, all these monuments around us are paying tribute to the history of Scotland in terms of its intellectual, scientific, artistic achievements that has spread all around the world. There's a countless amount of Scottish inventors and writers that are known all around the world and that have inspired many different inventions and literary movements. So these monuments were built between the 1700s to the mid 1800s. And this one's a recreation of the Parthenon. Hello, Jay. Nice to see you here. I adore Edinburgh. If you can go to Shinary Point, see dolphin in Liberty. Oh, Sharon, thank you so much. I'll look into that. Wow. Look at that. Scotland, everyone. Ooh. The volcanic rock. Look at that. The very sharp flow throughout the millennia. Audrey says, back with us. Brilliant. Oh, I'm so happy to be here. This is an awesome site. No wonder so many people were recommending it. You know, when I saw Calton Hill from the old town, it seemed like such a hike, which I don't mind usually, but it was very cold when I went, so I didn't feel like hiking in the cold, but it's actually a pretty easy walk, so it might look intimidating, but I would recommend coming here, judging by these views. Wendy says, I want to start a campaign for you to grow your beard back. I mean, where I'm going probably would require a beard for extra effect. But where I'm going after that, these new countries, I think the way my facial hair is now is just perfect for those other countries after we go up north. Sally is saying Faroe Islands, Scandinavia, Iceland. I hear it's amazing. Yeah, all those countries are amazing. Ah, Gary, thank you so much for highlighting this. So apparently the Scots affectionately call this building that the camera's facing directly head onto the poop. Yeah, it kind of looks like a nice, neat poop. Like the poop emoji, just put eyes on it, it's the emoji. Lauren says you're back in Scotland. Amazing. Yes, I'll be in Scotland for this upcoming week. But after, Edinburgh is only a short stop, but afterwards we'll be covering new countries. Laureen is right. I am indeed Lord Ariel of Jackson Heights, Protectorate of Glencoe. So, excuse me, Glencoe. So, yes, I am indeed a lord here in Scotland. I'm coming back to check upon my fiefdom. My fiefdom is a very vast plot of land of 1 square foot. There's a lot of space. It requires meticulous inspection of this 1 square foot land I have in Glencoe, which is up in the Highlands. So that's the real reason I'm here. I'm checking upon my fiefdom. I will be hiring a caretaker. So if anyone wants to caretake a 1 square foot of land in the middle of the Highlands, let me know. But I don't know. I really like this. So let me know. Do you think my fiefdom should consider an invasion? Should we take over Edinburgh? Expand. Let me know if you want to do a nice casual conquest. Do I need to wear a kilt? Says yes, kilts are required for the caretaker job. Sally sent 600 stars. Thank you so much, Sally. You are amazing. So, Edinburghers, let me know, what are we seeing here in these views? I see like a bridge there in the distance, and it should be rather industrial in this direction. And yeah, it's very windy. Very, very windy today. Sharon says, have you spoken to the locals? Locals are scary. No, I'm joking. No, I just got here. The train ride is long. I took the 10:45 on the Lumo, which is the express train from London, King's Cross, all the way to Edinburgh, Waverley Station. And it takes 4 hours and 20 minutes or so. So Lauren says that was Firth or Fourth. Mel Black Edinburghers. Yep, that is how they're called, Edinburghers. That poking on there is the Forth Bridges. It's warm, windy today, says Susie. Is this warmer? Is this warm for June? Let me know. All right, what else is there to see in Calton Hill? Let me know. Cash Time says, my guess was Brighton was your birthday location. You know, that's a good guess. Yeah, Cash Time, I was very tempted to go to Brighton, but no, I spent my birthday in central London. For that video, I was at, right in front of the British Museum, and then I went on to see a show called The Play That Goes Wrong. I had some food and then I went to see a show, The Play That Goes Wrong. My quick review of The Play That Goes Wrong was, it was fun. Kids are going to love it. It's a bit silly. So, if you don't like things too silly, then you might not like it. But if you're with kids or you're with youngsters, then it might be worth it. Arthur's seat is in the background, says Audrey. Yes, let's point the camera towards it. Esfiel says, I don't like silly. I'm a very super serious gal. Yeah. Yeah, it was funny. I was sitting in between two very big guys. One was a very short guy, but he was very big, very wide. So I was squished in between that guy and another guy who was tall and wide. And the short guy was laughing his ass off. The big guy was dead serious the entire time. And I was chuckling here and there. So it was the full spectrum of the experience of watching that play. Mir says, and now we're facing Holyrood. Let's see. Holyrood House. Was it a comedy like Spamalot? I never seen Spamalot. It was somewhat similar to Something's Rotten, but Something's Rotten I think was better. It's a farce. This one was heavy on the slapstick. So it was more like Three Stooges meets Spamalot or Something's Rotten. The humor was more slapstick. Not too heady. Hey, Ennis, nice to see you here. Welcome. Charlotte says, us Brits like slapstick. Oh yeah, that's cool to hear. Yeah, that was a show developed here in Scotland. I mean, in England. Star says, look at that view. Oh yeah. Arthur's seat. Apparently, King Arthur himself sat here. Oh, I should not worn white Converses. I gotta start using my boots here in Scotland. Susie says, we're near the ski slope. There's a ski slope here in in Edinburgh. Dry ski slopes to the left, says Audrey. Really? What's to the left? This way. Oh, that's so interesting. We hear the trains coming in. Let's actually pop in over here. Sharon says, don't say Scotland is in England. Yeah, I was talking about the musical. I said by mistake that it was in Scotland, but it was actually English, not musical, English play. Jamie says, the Facebook short that you did, the story looks like the Windows XP boot up screen. Oh, yes. Bella says, Lord Ariel, king of Converse. I like Converses and I like to converse. Wow. That's amazing. Maria says, have you eaten some haggis? Oh, I will. That's what I've been looking forward to the most here in Scotland, is eating some haggis. George, with snakes. Oh yes, the wretched Scottish snakes. Oh, that's a steep decline over there. One has to be careful. Susie says, oh no, not haggis. There's a restaurant here that sells vegetarian haggis. D. Chris says, deep fried Mars bar. Oh no, I will not be having that again. Haggis all day, every day, but no deep fried Mars bar. Okay, so we have a new bench. This bench is the same one as the other one, but this one doesn't have a wee bit of shade, but you do have the beautiful breeze. You have the gorgeous view of the ancient volcanoes that was Arthur's Seat right in front of us, the old town of Edinburgh. This is an excellent bench. Oh yeah, this is an amazing bench. Look at this. Ron says, admit it, you found your Scottish lass. Ron, the reason I'm going far up north in Scotland is to go into those interdimensional portals that the main character in Outlander found, so I can go back in time and find myself a good Scottish lass, but like back in like Highland times. So I give this bench gets a very good. This is a very good bench. There's not much bad things to say about the bench. It's just not Converse friendly. That's the only bad thing about the bench. This ends up getting a 9.6 out of 10. Lauren says, since you're East Coast, they say ye can. You can? Which translates to you know what I mean? Charlotte says, contemplating life. Oh, yeah. Eileen says, good luck with your quest. Thank you so much, Eileen. Susie says, that's a good score. Oh, yeah, among the highest in urbanist history. Sally says, are you in Scotland for just a day? No, Scotland will be here for the next week. Different parts of Scotland that I haven't shown before, but for the next week. Lauren says it's pronounced Yakin. Yakin? Susie says, I'm waving to you. Hey, Susie. You work in the old town or the new town? Which side? Hello to Susie and Gary somewhere as well. And many other Scots are tuning in as well. We have Chris. We have many others. We have actually like about six Scottish mega urbanists. So thank you everyone. Alexander is another one. We have a few others. Sally says, it's such a beautiful country. Yeah, this is an amazing country. Scotland, England, Ireland, this entire little region of the world is amazing. And it's worth hopping around these different countries to embrace them all. You know, I gotta come back here. I'm only doing UK for just one more week, but I gotta come back here for more of like Wales, and there's many other parts of Ireland that I still haven't explored yet. Didn't realize Greenland Express stopped in Edinburgh, says Q&A. What do you mean Q&A? Are you avocado deprived, says Wendy. No, I had an amazing avocado toast earlier in the morning at one of my favorite cafes in London called Watch House, which I actually filmed a short video of, and I'm going to post a short video about that. It looks so peaceful, yet being in a big city, says Mid. Yeah, you know, Edinburgh's not that big of a city. Scotland itself is not even that big of a population. But it is impressive that we are in a sizable city, and yet there's so much peace up here. It is amazing. And you barely hear car traffic. Here just seems to be some type of highway down there, but that's it. Not too much car traffic. Are you going out for dinner tonight? I will be eating out. Whether I make a video of it, maybe not. Put on your notifications. Wow, I don't want to leave. This is a great place to like sit down and think about life. Read a good book. Matt says you need to go to St. Andrews. So a lot of people also hike here, which is this mount that we see right in front of us. That hike is much longer. Let me know how long it takes to get to the top of Arthur's Seat. Let's zoom in. Brent says, where are your next destinations? You got to tune in, but I already revealed that I'll be in Scotland. I'm going beyond the wall, metaphorically speaking. I think there is another wall further up north. So maybe also, literally, I'm going beyond the wall too. Chulio says, perfect place for a philosophical chat. Yeah, it is actually. Hour or so. It's pretty easy hike. Ah, that's good to hear. Thank you so much, Lauren. Lauren is Glaswegian. Thank you so much for tuning in. Lauren has been tuning in for a long time. So we see people already on top. And we see people going on these trails right here. Matt says it takes about 2 hours. Depends on your speed, but it seems like it's a easy hike. The cliffs on the Arthur's Seat are called crags, says Lauren. Yeah, thank you so much for mentioning that, Lauren. Yeah, these are crags. Very violent geological history. Susie says the Queen used to walk here. Really? The Queen, the current Queen, Queen Elizabeth II? B. Chris says, consider visiting Leith. Oh yeah, maybe. I heard it was a really cool place. Mid Maru says, I'm planning to visit Copenhagen this summer, but suddenly Edinburgh seems like a better deal. You know, I don't know too much about Copenhagen, but yeah, Edinburgh is worth it, definitely. And there's a lot of great day trips here, which you might not have as much in those Scandinavian cities. Well, like in Copenhagen. Copenhagen, I think Denmark is pretty flat. But here, yeah, you have a lot of cool day trips. You could go Highlands, you could go Hadrian's Wall. There's a few other things you could do during the day. Kay says it would take me 4 hours to get up there. Yeah, it depends on your speed. Let's go up here. Cue the Outlander music. Doreen says, Netherlands, you have to go. I mean, there's so many places in Europe. I won't be able to do all of Europe. And I won't be staying in certain places for a week or 2 weeks. But yes, there's so many cool cities to visit. Zoe says, come to Oxford. That might need to wait for a future return to the UK. Susie says, I flew to Iceland for the day from Edinburgh. Really? Just for one day? You went and came back? That's kind of cool. Audrey says, this is the ball drop tower. Really? They have a time ball? That's cool. Isabel says, I'm pretty sure it's different to see this in person than it is on stream, but you're really loving the stream. I'm so glad you are. Where did you have for birthday, SDS? I had a duck breast with some great potatoes. I love duck breast, and then I had some freshly baked donuts, beignet style, with nice warmed jam and some ice cream. And then I had a gelato from Venchi, which is an Italian brand that is popular in London. Wow. I'll see a little bit more of these views. They're so cool.
Well, I mean, it'll be my 1 month birthday.
Miguel says it's Spanish speakers. Yes, there's a lot of Spanish tourists here in UK. I've noticed Spaniards, Portuguese, Brazilians, lots of tourists from those places around the world. And the Spaniards tend to speak a bit louder than most other Europeans, I've noticed. So that's why they stick out a bit more. Susie says you'll be working up a good appetite. Oh yes. There's a plaque here, so let's wait until people finish reading it. Anthony says there probably isn't as much food diversity as there is in New York. No, not in Scotland. There won't be as much, but there is still more food diversity than a lot of other European countries. So Edinburgh, you still will find Japanese, kebabs, many other things. Looks like a painting, says Susie. Oh yes, especially with the clouds. And with the beautiful sirens playing in the distance. Oh.
I think twice in up to 6 years. I'm really keen to go back. I think that is actually quite a good city to do by yourself because a lot of young people go and a lot of young solo travelers go. So, yeah, I'm excited.
No me voy a agobiar, estoy trabajando y no me quiero agobiar. Lo que pasa es que sé que dentro de un par de años, como no tengo proyecto,
Te vas a agobiar.
sí, porque tienes que estudiar algo así, pues a 10 años diré, pues nada, estudiar algo más.
Okay, so I read the plaque. The person is reading in detail, so I can't really show it to you, but the plaque says that 340 million years ago, huge vents blew out from this mountain in order to allow all the gas underneath the ground to come out. And then after all that lava flow and venting of gases, then glaciers covered up this and carved those crags that we see right in front of us. That was the gist of what they said. So through many hundreds of millions of years, we have all this interesting geology. Kat says, I missed your B-Day stream. How could you, Kat? How could you? No worries, Kat. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Okay, everyone, I will never doubt my Scottish viewers ever again. This was an excellent recommendation that I did not take last time I came here. So thank you so much. Woo, it's chilly. Let me know what else is there to see in Calton Hill. Do let us know. In front of you so Susie says in front of university and accommodation. Oh, cool. That's awesome to hear. Rob says, I haven't been to Calton Hill yet. I do recommend it. It's amazing to see it in person. If the standing stones you're going to visit start to hum, run away, says Randy. So Randy says, if I visit some standing stones and it starts to hum, then I better run away. Touche. I'm sending you a kilt, Ariel, but you have to wear it on live. So. You know, after seeing Oscar Isaac, I do want to wear one. So Oscar Isaac is a famous actor known for his roles in Dune, Moon Knight, Star Wars, the new trilogy, and he wore a kilt to one of the movie premieres. Oh, not to the movie premieres. He wore, I think it was to the movie premiere, yeah. Or to the Met Gala. It was one of those two. Mikhail says, when do you have the trial against your hairdresser? I think he did an excellent job, Mikhail. There are no trials to be had with the barber I had in London. Now walk down to the street. There's a lovely restaurant down there. Okay, thank you so much. Susie. All right, let's go around here. Ooh, now it's getting chilly. It's jacket weather. Janet says the views up here are amazing. They truly are. I do recommend them. So this is an observatory, and it's open Tuesday through Sunday until 5 p.m. It's closed Mondays. Shelley says, where are you right now? We're at Calton Hill on top of Edinburgh, Scotland. Beautiful capital of this country. People know also as the Athens of the North. Janice says, did I Uber this? No. I walked up here. You can see it. It's all on the live video. I did it myself. Whoa, it's windy. Oh. Susie says, I'll give you permission to wear my tartan for the kilt. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I heard that one requires permission to use a specific tartan. Susie, that would be an honor. Thank you so much. Is it the... Let me know, Susie. Is it the McNaughton? Is that Gary's, or is it another? I love this building. I love the poop building, as Gary said. It's awesome. Ron says, "Can I make a guess on Isle of Man? Wink twice if yes." That is indeed in the UK. That is indeed in the UK. Isle of Man is not part of Scotland, but it is indeed in the UK.
Risk assessment, thank you, that's what it is. I make a risk assessment and I take
Yasir says, I traveled to England. I'm in London. Oh, Yasir. Yasir, enjoy your time in London. Susie says it could be either Gary's tartan, the McNaughtons, or my tartan, the Gordons. Oh, I would love to check them out. I assume they're Googleable. How do you describe the vibe in Scotland, says DS? That's a great question. That is a really good question. Majestic is the term that comes into my mind. It's not necessarily busy. If you want the Scottish version of London, then go to Glasgow. That has more vibrancy. There's more stuff going on in Glasgow. More people out on the streets. But here's not quiet in the sense of like Seattle, where it's rather sleepy, or even Chicago, it's a bit sleepier. It's not quite like that. Here, there's a majesty to it, I think. It's like Paris at night. It has that very similar vibe of it's just gorgeous to walk around. And there's a lot of beautiful cafes and restaurants and pubs, and also a lot of beautiful architecture. So it's majestic. That's the vibe. right, let's go back down.
Blah blah. And then like, oh yeah, after
This is a great photo opportunity. Wow.
Estos castillos raros.
Bill says that the views is amazing. Yeah, yeah, definitely. All right, let's take it in one more time before we go downstairs, back down to the main streets of Edinburgh. I'm gonna put on my glasses so I can see it without the shading of my sunglasses. Jonathan says, drink a lot of Buckfast. What's Buckfast? Lauren says, good day for these views. Yeah, I mean, Scotland, just like many parts of England, tends to be rainy. So we got lucky here today. Beautiful, clear day. All right, back down we go. Ron says, are we going down rolling? Quite don't have the attire for rolling down the hill. Lauren says Buckfast is Scotland's second national drink after Iron Brew. That's awesome. Ooh, I got to update Nightbot. Stay tuned, everyone. Nightbot will be updated. Ivel says, are you gonna try Iron Brew again? You know, I'm not the biggest fan of Iron Brew, but I could use a good sausage roll from Greg's. KM says you should go back to Ireland. Yes, I would love to go back to Ireland. Cynthia says, happy belated birthday. Kay says, stay away from Iron Brew this time. But Kay, I'll go viral again. No, now for paraglide down to street level like James Bond, says Gary. That would be epic. I mean, James Bond is from Scotland, so according to the movie Skyfall. Ibel says, haggis? Yes, I will be eating haggis. I'll be taking a photo or maybe even a video of said haggis. So apparently there's a three-legged haggis that roams wild in the outskirts of Edinburgh. So I'm going to see if I can try to catch it so we can eat some fresh three-legged haggis. Let me know if you want to see that on video. Janet says the headlines will be American tourist tries Iron Brew again. Susie says that sounds terrifying. Three-legged haggis. So no, haggis is not an animal. It is derived from a few different animals. You can make haggis from any common animal, but I think cow pork is the main one. And but since a lot of tourists eat haggis here in Scotland when they visit, the Scots like to make fun of those tourists, saying, "Hey, we actually have some fresh wild haggis," and we've caught the three-legged ones. And this is kind of like riffing on the tourists, thinking that haggis is some very exotic thing, and just kind of pulling their leg by saying, "No, this is the real wild haggis. We caught it in the wild." And the animal actually has a look. It looks like kind of like a platypus. The fictional haggis.
Yeah, so we lost one for Willie.
B. Chris says, so can you understand the local lingo? Yes, the local lingo in Edinburgh is much more easier to understand, at least from my New York ears. In Glasgow, it gets a bit more difficult, just a tad. I think the further up north you get, a little bit more harder it gets to understand everything. Eugene says, do you know the history of Scotland? Great William Wallace. I know the general history of William Wallace, yes. We're not, I don't think we're in a location with William Wallace history here right now. So let's show you how close this is to the New Town and Old Town. Beautiful old towers are the tallest buildings visible. It's very nice outside. Oh yes, it's nice to see the highest buildings in architecture dedicated to either monuments to great people of history, or to churches, or to educational institutions. Because if you think about it, most of our tallest buildings for most of human history were always churches. But it was only in the 20th century where we started building huge towers that weren't meant for spiritual reasons, but they were meant for business. So our tallest buildings in the world are dedicated to commerce, to finance, and now to living, to being a resident. So people have asked about diverse food. Yep, you'll find diverse food here in Edinburgh. Let's cross over here. Lauren says, Glasgow has a hard accent, but when I'm in England, I sound American. What? You do? That's interesting, Lauren. Ron says, are there Scottish hipsters? You know what? If you were to, if you didn't know you were in Edinburgh,
Go to a couple of bars on the way.
and you were to randomly walk around and not hear people speaking, you would assume that you are in like Bushwick, Brooklyn, by the look of many young Scots, especially the men. There's a lot of beards, tattoos. The fashion sense is similar to the hipster neighborhoods in New York, which is very fascinating. B. Chris says, how will you compare Edinburgh and Dublin? That's a great question. Dublin is more higher energy than Edinburgh. And Edinburgh has way more historic architecture than Dublin. Dublin, while it's an old city established by the Vikings, it doesn't have that much historic architecture, at least not in this amount. And it's because Dublin, only until about the 1900s, it grew to a very rich city. And that's only in the past maybe 70, 80 years. In the 60s and 70s, it really grew, skyrocketed. and then later in the 2000s. So that's why you don't have that much huge, gigantic, historic buildings from the 1700s in Dublin.
It's annoying because just off the
Doreen says there's more partying in Dublin. Yes. Yeah, Dublin is more of a energetic city than Edinburgh. Dublin is more similar to Glasgow than it is to Edinburgh. Did Bob and Frank follow you from Paris? They're here somewhere. Joe says this just looks like Staten Island. Yeah, Joe, yes, exactly. You know that south part of Staten Island that people rarely go to? Yeah, exactly. Is this the construction for the new tram line? I think it is. Do let us know. Scottish urbanists. What is this construction project happening? I don't see a sign yet, but maybe we'll see one soon. Neil says this looks like Egypt. Yeah, I can imagine. I heard that Egypt has these stone buildings as well in some parts, but I would assume it's not that big in terms of similar architecture. So we're crossing above the rail lines. And we used to be a river from the new town to the old town. Gary says they're renovating the old bridge. Ah, that's interesting. Here's the Scotsman, very fancy old hotel, which has a secret cinema inside. So if you see my short video on the electric cinema of Notting Hill in London, they have a very similar cinema here. DMC says that Edinburgh has stunning architecture. Oh yes. George, thank you so much for tuning in. Doreen says, wow, the buildings look so old. Yeah, I mean, now we're going, since the old town is older, ends up going to 1600s, the older ones. But Edinburgh really grew because of the Industrial Revolution. It became an industrial hub for this northern part of Britain, the island. Rob says, are you going to the castle? Probably not today. It's still quite a walk. But I did show the castle inside last time I came here. George, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Jana says you should go to the World's End Tavern. You know, I did last time I came here. I did not manage to do a video, but I did go to the World's End Tavern. It was really cool. Pretty much your normal pub. Unfortunately, it has some very dark history, which I touched upon when I did a more history tour of the Royal Mile, which we're on right now. So this connects the Edinburgh Castle, which we saw from a distance in Calton Hill, up the Royal Mile, all the way down to Holyrood House, which a few people have said that's where the Queen stays when she visits. Lisa says, Ariel, what drives you to visit cities you have visited before? That's a great question. I know a lot of people are used to seeing a lot of travel vloggers. A lot of travel vloggers on YouTube, I've noticed, are really driven to go to a new place all the time. All the time. I've never really been that way. I like coming back to places. it's like I would say traveling and always going to a new place is the equivalent of always dating someone new. You never really get to develop a real relationship with anyone if you're always dating around. But if you commit to a person, or at least spend a little bit more time with them, then you really get to know them and all those different facets of that person. Same thing with the city. You get to know a city and all its different facets each time you visit, each subsequent time. So yeah, maybe for in the world of travel vlogging on YouTube, it might not be as catchy as potentially as profitable to do the same places again, but I think on a more soul level, it's worth visiting a city that you really enjoyed or a place you really enjoyed again and again and again. Always try something new, but try it. Keep returning to a place. Get acquainted with it. Do it. It's really fun. It's fun to enjoy a place a second time, a third time, a fourth time. Susie says, I visited Las Vegas many times. Yes, as the case with many Americans, yes. Las Vegas is a place people love to go back and back. ¿Es tu primera vez en Edimburgo? Dice Evelyn. Is it your first time in Edinburgh? No, Evelyn, yo visité Edinburgh. Here's Frank. Frank has visited Edinburgh. He's down chasing the Scottish lassies, but he's failing at it. Lasses, not lassies. So Evelyn, sí, yo he visitado Edimburgo anteriormente. Lo hice hace varios meses. Y quedé aquí por una semana, so hay varios videos de Edimburgo. So there's a lot of videos about Edinburgh because I visited a few months ago. Lauren says, another Scottish meal is Balmoral chicken. Chicken with haggis and whiskey sauce. Ooh, that sounds interesting. There's much more depth to your commentary than most vloggers because you obviously enjoy the places you return to, says Lester. Oh, thank you so much, Lester. That's the beauty about live video. There's an opportunity to go a little bit deeper. MFA. Thank you so much for tuning on Twitch. He or she asks, who am I chatting to? And let me mute. Okay, so there was some music playing. So I am doing a multi-stream to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch all at the same time. Here are the city chambers. Look at that. Wendy says, oh, cool, I gotta get here. Oh, yes. So MFS says, wow, nice. Yes, if you're watching on Twitch and it seems a bit lonely, Twitch is very hard to grow. I think the key to Twitch is being a woman. If you're a travel vlogger, you have to be a woman. You have to put the camera this way and never turn the camera the other way. Just always face it this way. That's the way to grow on Twitch. Or go on the hot tub. But you generally have to be a woman. So that's one of the two ways to grow on Twitch. So you could go on YouTube, Urbanist Exploring Cities. That's how you can see. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Hey, Guy Tweedy. Thank you so much. Guy Tweedy says, happy birthday from yesterday. Thank you so much, Guy Tweedy. Barry says Twitch is more of a gaming platform. Yep. Love the phone booths. Are they still operational? I think most of them are not. Eugene says you should do a ghost tour some night. Yeah, if there's a tour guide out there that you think I should feature, do let me know. I'm here for only 2 nights, so I can't really do too much. Esfiel says, I bet you could do that, but with a different angle. I think the male equivalent of that angle is, that one's much more difficult to accomplish. Kay says, I'll go and set up the hot tub. Thank you for your concern, Kay, of YB to grow on Twitch. My favorite window coming up, says Audrey. Ooh, what's your favorite window? Rachel says Scotland's so haunted. Oh yes, it's so haunted because this was the city of chimneys, which we see all the chimneys here. Look at that. These chimneys were so tiny that the only people who could really clean them were small children. These children would be hired from a very young age in order to sweep these chimneys that would be covered in dust, tar, mold, dead animals, even sometimes human remains. The thing is, these small kids, since they were still developing in their skeletal structure and their muscles, they end up developing weirdly. They had a lot of debilitations when it came to how their body grew. So a lot of them didn't live for very long. They would die as teenagers. And the kid would get stuck sweeping these chimneys right up here, any of these chimneys. If you would get stuck, it would not be profitable for the chimney sweeper company to try to get them out by tearing down the wall or tearing down the chimney, because the person, also the house owner, will also lose a lot of money. So they would send a second kid to try to scoop up the other kid if they were stuck. If that second kid was stuck, well, let's say they might just have been left there, or they would have lit a fire as if you were lighting up the chimney, or the fire will already be lit. So actually the kids will already be sweeping the chimney while the chimney was working. The reason is that a lot of these homeowners here, people who rented these apartments, did not want to lose out on the wood or the flint or whatever they use to keep the fire running. They just did not want to go through the trouble. So these kids would be working already in hot conditions, but in order to get them out if they were stuck, is that they would put the fire way higher so they would be burning up, so they would just, out of panic, rush out. Some of those kids died while doing that, and they had to be pulled out. So yeah, there's a lot of ghosts here, and I think that's maybe one of the reasons for the ghosts. Q&A says, be an amazing stream next April, Urbanist Hot Tub Special. So Gary is right, yes. Edinburgh is now termed a smokeless zone with very few chimneys used now. Yeah, that's right. Thank you so much for clarifying. Mir is making guesses of where I'm going. Cool thing about Edinburgh, it has a somewhat sizable airport, so you can fly to a lot of points in Europe. Chris says, holy moly, we missed you by a couple of days. Yeah, Chris, enjoy your London trip. It's so cool that you're there. Peggy says, seems like a quiet city. It is, yeah. Doug says, excellent, you know a lot of history. Indeed I do, so go back to my Edinburgh video from a few months ago. It was very recent. And I talk more in depth about all the history here. And now we have a sole bagpiper. Eugene says, did you try Scottish whiskey? I just may try Scottish whiskey soon. Maybe a few drams of whiskey. Becca says, the statue right in front of you of David Hume, people rub the foot in order for good luck when they are about to take their exams. Yes, that's right. So right here, Deacon Brodie, I'm still waiting for the light, but here, Deacon Brodie Tavern. This is the guy who inspired. The writer lived here. He was an Edinburgher. And inspired Robert Louis Stephens to write Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. But who was Deacon Brodie? Well, Deacon Brodie was an expert locksmith. He would design very, very hard to break into locks. However, he had a deep gambling problem. So he would gamble and squander most of the money that he would make being an excellent locksmith here in Edinburgh. And as he would lose out on this money, he would be in terrible financial issues and try to pay back those debts. Well, you know, you see any show about like Scotland from the 1700s, 1800s, you probably know that if you mess around with the wrong crowd, you're probably gonna get beaten up, or maybe worse. In order to pay back those debts, Deacon Brodie ended up setting a ring of thieves. These thieves would go around Edinburgh and break into the locks that he designed and steal their jewelry and their precious goods and sell them in order to pay back his debts. And by night, he was a lock breaker. And he inspired Robert Louis Stephens, who was the writer of Treasure Island, but later wrote Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And his shop is right around here. Here we also have his shop. And he was actually executed on the device he designed, the gallows he designed, a little bit further down. So this was his workshop right over here. Deacon's house. And this was, the shop dates back to 1420, the actual building, but the dwelling was 1645, but he was from a little bit later than that. Joe says, why was he hung? Did I miss that? He was hung because he picked too many locks. Right here is Gladstone's land. This is the Tenement Museum of Edinburgh. And you can visit here today, both from the high class to the very, very low classes. So it depends where you live, but the high classes lived not further up, they lived further down. So they lived more down, and the lower classes lived all the way up. I have a full bonus tour for patrons. So if you want to see a tour of Gladstone's land, I walk all around it. You can check it out at patreon.com/urbanist. And you'll have access to a few other Edinburgh bonus videos too. What is this? Riddles Court. In close lived David Hume before settling in James Court.
You know, you're just.
Trust me, I'm praying. What am I just like?
So there's a haunted tour going on right now. Huge group of people. So one aspect of visiting Edinburgh is going to all these closes. Closes? Hard to pronounce because they pronounce it slightly different than us, we do in America. But all these passageways are all throughout the city, the old town. And you can truly get lost in them. And of course there's a lot of ghost stories. Cold. I gotta get myself a nice Scottish scarf. Bikra says that this is a bit like Lyon in France. Ooh. This is what I need, a shawl. A huge Scottish cape shawl. Wow, what's happening at the castle? Just imagine this with fog in the winter. I did visit here in the late winter. We had one foggy night. Susie says, get a Scottish turtleneck. Maybe. I just might need it. Susie says, do get yourself a kilt. So do men wear the kilt? Do they also wear a scarf when it's cold? Gary says, you'll never make the grade as a Scottish lord if you think this is cold. Yeah, I don't know how the Scots wear a kilt in weather much colder than this. All right, so we're gonna make a few people happy. We're gonna go to the Edinburgh Castle. But first, fun mirrors. This is the Camera Obscura Museum. Pretty old. This one makes one look very slender. I have another YouTube video of the Witchery. This is a great restaurant, really romantic, really fancy. It really feels like you're going back in time. I do recommend it. I think Edinburgh Castle is closed. What are they doing here? Look at this. Is the royal tattoo happening soon? Do let me know. Christine says, where are the people? So there are a lot of tourists here. Is this now we're getting close to the time where people are already going back to their hotels, grabbing a bite to eat? A lot of the attractions are already closed. Randy says it's in August. Are they starting to prepare now for the tattoo? So it's closed, and today is closed, but it will be open at 9:30 a.m. Ashley says, don't go into the Witchery unless you have a ton of money. You know, Ashley, yeah, it is expensive, but compared to New York, it's not that expensive.
I think we could, so we are.
Okay, so Edinburgh Castle is closed, unfortunately, but you can watch I had 2 videos live from Edinburgh Castle and also have short videos from it too. One of them is during sunset, and another one I go deep into the history. So check those videos out if you want to see Edinburgh Castle, and go to patreon.com/urbanist if you want to see the bonus videos, such as the Tenement Museum here on patreon.com/urbanist. So thank you everyone so much for tuning in. This is Edinburgh. We walked from Calton Hill all the way to Edinburgh Castle. Edinburgh Castle is right there. It's just that the gates are closed. So it was an easy walk, an hour and a half, going light pace, taking our sweet, sweet time. Really cool. Now I'm off to find some wild haggis. Let me know where I can catch the wild haggis, and I'm gonna catch it and fry it at home. Anyway, no schedule this Thursday through Saturday, so put on your notifications, !notify. And next, we'll resume June 30th with the schedule. But no schedule this week because I'll be going beyond the wall. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Keep being awesome. And always keep on exploring. Have a good day, everyone. See you later. How do I say bye in the Scottish way? Do let me know. Bye. Bye-bye.